Hey mamas, if you just saw that, I hope this is working for y'all. I really want to do this video. On my side, it was not looking too good. This looks a lot better though. Mamas, listen, we're going to talk today about how to naturally raise your own GLP1 hormone. And if you're here, let me know that this is working, because that would be great, because something's kind of wonky. Here is the thing. Oh, good. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you for saying good morning. I was a little worried on that last one. Here's the thing, and I mentioned this, if last week, I don't believe I went live because of the holiday, the 4th of July holiday. Thank you, Valerie. About 2 weeks ago, though, I went live, and I'm not going to reiterate all of that because I want you to listen to that video. You can find it here in our group. You can find it on YouTube, and I also emailed it out. So make sure you're on my email list. We talked about, well, what is GLP1 hormone? And, like, what is it? What does it do? What does it do? How does it work? So after this video, go watch that one, because it's not super crazy long, but it'll really help you know what we're talking about. And again, you may or may not even know that you've heard of GLP1. Maybe you have, but if you've heard of Ozempic, then there you go. That is the drug, and there's some other ones, but that's kind of become the Band-Aid name, Band-Aid, Vaseline, like we call it all, like the brand name has now become the name of all these different things that the drugs mimic. They mimic a raised GLP1 hormone. But because we have the power, we can naturally raise our own actual GLP1 hormone. And I'm coming to you from someone who has done it and is doing it, and I cannot believe it. And it ain't that hard, okay? I'm not saying it's like, I'm not saying that tomorrow you're going to wake up and it's going to be where it needs to be yet, but it ain't that hard. It don't take that long. And yes, the Trim Healthy Mama way of eating generally is a great foundational start to do that. It is, but there's some tweaks. For those of us who maybe are insulin resistant or leptin resistant, did y'all know that's a thing? Or carb resistant, did y'all know that's a thing? So those of us who maybe, for lots of different reasons, are struggling to eat like everybody else and get to goal weight. For those of us who are trying so hard to eat healthy, do the right things, and we're stuck and we ain't getting nowhere. And I don't just mean like my stuck mama group. I'm talking like you've had some success, but then you kind of hit a wall and it isn't going anywhere. And everybody else is like, I'm at goal weight and it only took me 6 months. Whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. I have never made goal weight. I've never met goal weight ever. And that has, for a while, that bothered me. For a little while. I had great success and all the things, and I felt great and amazing. And, but I never met goal weight. And then, we were told, well, be happy with queen weight. I was like, okay, I can be happy with queen weight. I can. And I understand what that yes, and it. And then a while back, I was like, you know what? I'm not happy with that. I'm kidding myself. I'm actually not happy with that, because I know I have more progress that I could make for sure. And now I don't want to kill myself either. I am not into counting this, that, and the other. I'm not into weighing this, that, and the other, like food. I'm not that isn't good. That's just not me. I don't want a food scale. I'm sorry, Mama Heather. I know maybe someday I will be that girl who wants to weigh her food. I am not that girl today, but I am that girl who wants to get to goal weight, and I'm tired of settling for not being at goal weight. Okay? Anybody else? Y'all know what I'm talking about? So, what's the deal? Well, some of us are insulin resistant, leptin resistant, carb resistant, one of those, two of those, all three of those, okay? Who knows? And sometimes you can't know, because it's not like you feel different. You may or may not feel different. It's just that your journey isn't going the way that everybody else's is, or the way you thought it would. Yes, Heidi, me too. Can you tell I'm a little fired up about this? Just a little, Mama Heidi. Tired of settling. Ain't settling no more. No way. So anyway, it just, yeah. So some of us do have to make some tweaks. And again, the Trim Healthy Mama, the way of eating, it's so foundationally good. And I think about it this way. It is foundationally, generally speaking, pretty anti-inflammatory, but not completely, depending on how you do it. But it can be tweaked and nuanced to be 100% on plan stuff, but anti-inflammatory. And y'all know that's a big part of my journey and my coaching. I mean, I have a master course about anti-inflammatory. I talk about it all the time. Y'all probably sick and tired of hearing about it. But it is foundational. Oh, I moved my book. I had a book sitting. Surprise! I had a book sitting next to me. Good news, it wasn't a new book. It was one you've seen before. But definitely making some tweaks to beat inflammation further is extremely important to many of us. Maybe not everybody. Maybe not everybody has to tweak their journey to beat inflammation to the level I do, or some of you have seen that you do. Same thing I feel like, or similar thing I feel like with this whole GLP1 hormone thing. Foundationally, yes, Trim Healthy Mama is a great boost to many of us, and we need to start with that. But for some of us, we've got to have a tweaked, nuanced approach to help us get to the finish line well. Okay, and when I'm talking about the finish line, I'm talking about the finish line, and I want to age well, and I want to meet my goals and make my progress and keep it and maintain it. We were just talking about that in my 8-week Stuck Mama group. The things I'm going to share with you in just a minute, these are things, they're really not difficult, but they're going to make all the difference in the world, and they're just tweaks to what many of us have been trying so hard to do, and we're not seeing the results. Let's get those results, okay? Some of y'all, there's going to be one thing on here that's a little new. Some of y'all have taken my little food piece course. Y'all, this is the most humble little food piece course, because I just wanted to hurry up, get those teachings recorded, and get them out to you. It's not fancy. It doesn't have bells and whistles. It doesn't have beautiful graphics. It doesn't. I know it doesn't, because I wanted to hurry up and get it out to you and help you get started seeing that just a few tweaks can make all the difference in the world. And like I said before, I titled it Finding Your Food Peace. And I'm going to be honest with you, that is what it's all about. I could have titled it, like I said before, I could have titled it, How to Naturally Raise Your GLP1. But to be honest, I wasn't quite ready to be that bold about saying it. And I hate to say that now, to admit it, but I wasn't quite ready to be that bold to say, this is how you're going to naturally raise your GLP1. But now I am ready to say that. This is how you're going to naturally raise your GLP1. This is not exhaustive. This was just like, hey, here's 5 things that I have found to be powerful in my own journey, and I want to put these things into your hands, okay? Not exhaustive. There are other things for sure. The information, what was that show back in was it the 90s? The Truth is Out There. What was that show? I can't remember the name of it. Like the truth is out there is just kind of hard to find. It's not that easy to find, which is really frustrating. I know. And so that is what I've been digging into. What was the name of that show, y'all? Y'all know what I'm talking about? The Truth is Out There. Anyway, that is what I've been digging into, and I want to bring to you today. For those of you who have been trying really, really hard, and you know you're not at goal weight, and you'd like to be at goal weight, okay? And you don't know what else to do, and maybe like me, you have been doing all the things. You have been doing all the things, but, and you feel a lot better. I mean, and that is important because honestly, your body isn't going to lose weight and keep it off, because that's, who cares if I lose weight and in a year from now put it back on? No. Thank you, Alicia, X-Files. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. I was like, I can see the actors in my head. I could not think of the name of that show. But I'm like, I mean, if you lose weight and then a year later put it all back on, then whack, whack, who wants that? That is not what we want. And you know it's going to come back with, you know, fierce and all that kind of stuff. But definitely feeling, you may be like me and you're like, okay, I'm trying really hard. I'm doing all the things and I do feel better. And I do, you know, I can tell this is better and this is better. That is great. Now, let's go to the finish line. Let's take that a step further and let's get to goal weight, mamas. I'm ready for it. I am so ready for it. And now, for the first time in a really long time, which annoys me that I settled, but that's on me. I was settling. Now, for the first time in an extremely long time, I actually think I'm going to make it to my reasonable goal weight, not queen weight. I'm done with that. Okay, so let's talk about practical ways. And why is this GLP-1 thing such a factor here? Here's the thing, and it gets a little complicated and it gets all medical and sciencey, and you can go and read about all that. And I got lots of books lots of books and lots of things. But the bottom line is that if your GLP-1 hormone is low, then it's not signaling, the signals aren't getting sent to your brain well that you're full, to your body that you're full, even though you may have eaten. That's a big part of the problem, is that, again, insulin resistant means that you are got lots of insulin going on in your body, but it no longer works the way it needs to. It just no longer does the job. If you're leptin resistant, you may have lots of leptin floating around in your body and things, but it's no longer saying, hey girl, you good, you're full, stop eating now, you should be satisfied. And like, you may really have eaten a good bit and you may actually have a lot of weight to lose, but yet you still feel like you haven't eaten enough, right? Been there? And you may be, like I said, carb resistant, where your body just doesn't handle carbs like it used to. And it like, you can eat the carbs, but it's just not managing them the way it used to. All those things play into this. They really do. And the big thing here is that when, unfortunately, these things tend to go hand in hand. Not 100%, there's always exceptions, but generally these things all go hand in hand. And when your GLP-1 hormone is low, these other things tend to be high, okay? Generally. And when your food noise that we've talked about here for a while, when your food noise is out of control, which I think a lot of us are dealing with it and we've just learned to live with it. That was me. I learned to live with it and thought it was just my normal and that was just the way it was going to be. When your food noise is out of control, chances are one of those other things is also out of whack, okay? Also not working properly. And that's what the Food Peace course is all about, is to help you start managing that with very practical tips, okay? So one of the things I want to share with you is that I'm going to give you a view, an idea to think about, and it's a mind shift. But this is not all just mind work, because I'm giving you practical tips, okay? I'm going to give you a mind shift that I want us to think about. And this has been a mind shift for me too. Me too. After, how many years have I been coaching? I do not know. Since the beginning of the coaching, and I've been a THM mama for 11 and a half years. This has been my mind shift. And that is, number one, to naturally raise your GLP-1 hormone, which can be done. That's the number one thing I want you to know. Yes, you can. Is that we have got to start fueling our bodies for our future self. And I don't just mean like, you know, your 90-year-old self. That is important to me. Aging well. That's what we talked about in my 8-week group today. Aging well and making it to the finish line, you know, well, yes, that is my ultimate goal. But I'm talking about your 3-hour self, your 4-hour self, even your 5-hour self. Yes, I said it, 5 hours, okay? I want us to start thinking about fueling our needs. And that still is going to be delicious and fun. Because listen, eating out and eating good food is my love language. I'm not joking. I love it. So I'm not talking about dieting. I'm not. I'm talking about, instead of thinking about eating to fuel a workout or eating to satisfy the clock a certain time, or instead of thinking about eating to satisfy emotions or pleasure, we have got to start thinking about our 3, 4, and 5 hour self. What can we eat now that's going to have our 4 and 5 hour self satisfied and happy and probably ready to eat again without being hangry? Because hangry ain't no good. And getting hangry too soon, well, really you shouldn't get hangry, but I've done it. Getting hangry too soon simply means you didn't fuel yourself well at the last time you ate. That's usually. Now, obviously, it could mean you went far too long, but if it's like 2 or 3 hours after you've eaten a good meal and you are now hangry and distracted and you just can't wait to stuff something in your mouth, that is information that's telling you that last time you ate did not satisfy your body's needs. It just did. It did not fulfill the needs that your body has to have. And so I want us to start thinking about it that way. When I eat, how can I eat? How can I build my meal so that my 4 and 5 hour self feels great and can think and can function and isn't ruled by food or the clock at all? Now, I'm not saying that you should go, 7 hours between breakfast and lunch. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you really want food freedom, and I do, I love food, but I don't want to be ruled by food. I don't want to be ruled by the clock. And I don't want to be ruled by these feelings of, when can I eat again? When did they say I could eat again? Is it almost time to eat again? Oh no, I can't eat yet. I better wait. I'm done with that. That's not good. That's being preoccupied with food thoughts. That's not food freedom, okay? And I really want all of us to have that food freedom, and it's going to have to start with, how are we building and fueling our meals? Are we fueling them to keep our 4 and 5 hour selves satisfied? And the reason I'm saying that is because if you eat, let's say you eat breakfast at 7 or 8 a.m. That's a nice, reasonable, normal breakfast time, if you will. Then you should be able to make it to noon, 1, depending, you should be able to make it to noonish or so. Great. You should be able to make it without thinking about food, without worried about food, without thinking, oh, it's 8 a.m. I just ate breakfast. I'm not getting home till noon. I better pack a snack. No, pack up that meal. Pack that meal full of nutrients and the things you need to quiet the food noise, keep you full and satisfied, and actually meet your nutritional needs, okay? That is going to be a shift for many of us to start thinking about, but I want you to think about how reasonable that is. We should be able to make it 4 or 5 hours without thinking or worrying about food, let alone eating, okay? I'm telling you, I can't believe the difference. Now, I still don't always build it. And I'm going to tell you the two things I think are most important in just a second. That's going to be, this is just number one, but it's a mind shift and it's a big deal. I don't always do it correct either, even though I've been working on this really diligently since early March. And I can't believe the impact. But yeah, sometimes I think I can shortchange my own findings and tips and things. Sometimes I think, oh, it'll be fine. No, it is not fine. But I still test it out on myself and build my meal insufficiently. Let's put it that way. Maybe it's got all these wonderful unplanned foods in it. Maybe it's a meal that, or whatever that, I contented myself with a year or two or 4 ago. But I've now learned it ain't going to cut it. It doesn't cut it for me. And that's okay, because it's time for me to figure out what I need to do. And so here's I'm not doing that anymore, friend. You know what I'm talking about? So number one, let's fuel for our 4-hour future self at the minimum. Okay, a lot of F's there. Let's fuel for our future self and set that girl up so that she's not hangry and she's satisfied and can think. I mean, Lord knows with, when you're going into menopause and all the things the joke is it's not dementia, it's demenopause. Like, we don't need any extra brain fog or distractions. Okay. So let's set up our future self, our 4-hour, 5-hour future self well, to be able to think, to be able to function, to be able to go about our business and do whatever we need to do, and to satisfy those needs. Now, here is what I have found, I believe, is happening. This is what happens to me when I don't do it well. And this gets into number 2 and 3. Number 2 on this whole, how do you naturally raise your GLP1 hormone? Okay, it's going to be protein. And I know you're sick of hearing about protein, but I got a few things I want to say about protein. Okay. First of all, on the protein thing, we really need to focus more on lean protein than fatty. You can certainly include fatty. I included fatty several times this week. But do remember that, I'm not over here counting calories, but fatty protein brings more calories. So really, ideally, a good balance is like a mix of fatty and lean protein, even within the same meal, like whole eggs and egg whites, for example, or just, reaching for those leaner cuts sometimes. So you don't have to pile up, bacon. To me, bacon's almost more of a fat source than a protein source. And you know what I'm talking about, but you can have it for some garnish and some flavor. I love it. I do. I have it. But the thing with protein, what it's doing there, and here's what happens when we don't have enough. And we've spent way too long not having enough protein. We need to get over that, get past it, and work up to a decent amount, okay? So, oh yes, Monica, me too. Me too, girl. So with the protein, you're going to see different mamas posting about their different amounts of protein. Some mamas are aiming for 40, some are aiming for 45, and that is a lot. And that may not be part of where your goals are. I know that Mama Shelly is aiming a lot higher on her protein because she is lifting some heavy weights and she is looking to really build and support her workouts. Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you. And this may be some good news. 30 grams of protein is the magic number. Okay. 30 grams of protein each time you eat is the magic number. That's where the muscle protein synthesis gets triggered, is at that 30 gram mark. So if you don't want to do 35 and 40, that's okay. You don't have to. It's that 30 gram mark that signals the muscle protein synthesis. And what that just means is helping our muscles. It's not like it's going to bulk you up. It ain't. It's going to help our muscles really become more insulin sensitive, which is what we want, and to be able to take in more glucose out of the bloodstream and help our muscles become strong and supportive and healthy. So it's that 30 gram mark. Okay. Now, the other thing that 30 gram mark does for us is that it ensures that we're getting all those essential amino acids naturally in our food when we get in that 30 grams of protein. And I am talking about dense protein sources. So eggs, fish, chicken meat, beef, whatever. I'm talking about dense protein sources with this for sure, okay? And so that is going to help us get in those essential amino acids from our protein. The reason that's important and the reason we've all struggled so much for so long, even though we were anchoring our meals in protein, is that for a long time, and it's not just THM, people like Dr. Mary Claire Haver and people like Dr. Mindy Pelz and even Dr. Mark Hyman, okay? For a long time, people felt like, yeah, have some protein, but just have some protein. They have all come around in the last few years, just more recently, really the last 2 or 3 years, to say, oops, wait a minute, we need more protein as we age especially. And here's all the reasons why, okay? So I know protein is having a moment in the THM world. It's having a moment everywhere. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, I'm going to show the book. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, Forever Strong, I actually have gone back and realized that I've heard her on podcasts since about 2021, 2022, yet this book just came out last year, okay? She's been working on this for a long time and been talking about it for a long time, and so it's kind of shifted. But when we get that 30 grams of protein, it triggers muscle protein synthesis, which we desperately need and want, especially as we age. But it also is providing those essential amino acids that we must have. That is what is going to help us get those signals working correctly with all the different hormones that control hunger and fullness and satiety and all that stuff. That is what's going to help us feel and be, feel satisfied and like, okay, I don't need to think about food. I've met my body's nutritional needs by getting in that 30 grams of protein at the meal. Now, I do sometimes get more, like at breakfast especially. I have found that if I get, I definitely aim for at least 30, but sometimes I will easily, like if I open up a can, my cans of Safe Catch tuna are 40 grams of protein, and I'll just eat the whole thing, okay? And I dress it up and make it nice and all the stuff. But I do tend to get a little bit more at breakfast, and that sets me up so beautifully. But 30 grams is what we want to aim for. Now, if you've still been eating 2 eggs, and thinking that that's enough, it ain't. That's about 10 to 12 grams of protein. Stinks, doesn't it? And so that's not even nearly enough. And that, I want you to start thinking back and looking back at your meals and how you felt, and you'll realize, well, no wonder I've been grappling with food noise and preoccupation with food and preoccupation with the clock and thinking about, well, when do I get to eat again and when's my next meal? We haven't been satisfying those basic nutritional needs, and we just didn't realize it because we were eating healthy and we thought we were, and we weren't. And I'm in the same boat, but we can do this, okay? So protein is very important and again, go back and listen to the video from 2 weeks ago about what is GLP1 hormone, what does it do, and all that stuff. Protein is going to be absolutely foundational. And if you are struggling to go from 2 eggs to 30 grams of protein, then just do it incrementally. Go up a little bit every few weeks or just as you can, because you'll be making progress towards getting to that 30 gram mark. Here we are on July the 11th, and I would say that gives you about 3 weeks. So by August 1st, try to make it a goal to get up to 30 grams every time you eat on your meals, for sure. It's going to make such a difference. You're going to be blown away. So that's the number 2 thing with naturally raising your GLP1 hormone. Your muscles, you're going to be fueling your muscles, and your muscles are going to become, like I said, more sensitive and able to manage glucose. And that in turn is going to help you become less reliant on insulin to do that job. And all of those things just kind of trigger together. It's kind of funny, isn't it? And that's going to help you to be satisfied and quiet the food noise. Now, the other side of that coin, to me, one can't go without the other. And that is fiber, okay? And I know fiber is not at all sexy to talk about, but that's okay. It's foxy, okay? Fiber is foxy. And so we're going to talk about fiber. This one is probably I don't want to say it's the most important. Protein's really darn important. Please don't forget the fiber part. And by fiber, yes, I'm talking about your non-starchies, and I'm talking about your leafy greens, and I'm talking about all those things that have fiber in them. And I'm personally, this is just me, I am personally not a fan of dry fiber ingredients. Not that they can't be helpful to some people, and not that they aren't fine, like oat fiber, psyllium husk, etc., etc., etc. My problem with them has always been, as many of you know, that many of us just can't tolerate them gut-wise. Like, they're not my happy place. I don't, believe me, I've tried them, but I do not use oat fiber. I do not use psyllium husk. I do not use glucose. I don't use xanthan gum. I don't use the cognac noodles. It's just dry fiber. I cannot do it. It will make me so unhappy in my gut. And so I do want you to know, when I'm talking about fiber, I'm just talking about, we're just going to use whole foods. And whole food fiber, you can certainly overdo that, especially if you have a sensitive gut, if you have, if you're grappling with IBS and you're wanting to heal from that. And, there's different things where certainly you can overdo whole food forms, for sure. Absolutely. And you do want to be very incremental about that. But you know who you are, right? You know if you struggle with some gut imbalances and things like that, and you have to take it slow. I mean, I even with baobab, because it's a dry fiber. Did you know that? Even with baobab, when that came on the scene, I just started out with like a half a teaspoon and worked my way up. Okay, so it's okay. I'm going to tell you some things, and it's okay if you're not there, but you can work towards being there. You can, and it will make all the difference in the world. So the thing about fiber that's important, there's a few things. As we talked about before, the GLP1 hormone, when it's working well and when it's at the levels it needs to be, well, it will help you feel full. It will for one thing, it literally signals, it triggers signals into the brain, hey girl, you're full, it's all good, you can stop eating now. But it also slows down your gut motility. It just slows down how food is moving through. And obviously, if it's your natural GLP1 hormone, it's working in conjunction with all the other systems in your body, and it is slowing down your food just enough so that you can get all the nutrients from it, and so that you can feel full, and then go to the bathroom when it's time to go, when it's all working well, and when your gut is in good working order. And goodness knows, I promise you, that I've had that was one of the things that led me to THM, was trying to get my gut in good working order. So I totally understand that, and you got to take it slow. But what fiber does for us is two really big things. Obviously, one of the biggest is it helps us feel full. That's what it does. It fills us up, helps us feel full. It slows food down from going through too fast. It will also, I guess it really does more than two things. It also helps slow down a blood glucose spike, which is fantastic. We definitely want to slow those down and decrease those and all the things. So it does that, but it also, the fiber coming from our veggies and our greens and all that feeds the good gut bacteria. And that is so important. And I know that that's not exciting either. It probably isn't, although for some of us it is. But feeding the good gut bacteria and having a healthy gut microbiome is absolutely critical to having a healthy GLP-1. Now, that does not mean that you have to eat a fermented veggie or drink at every single meal. It doesn't mean you have to do that. Now, if you're wanting to go super foodie and you're wanting to heal and you've got some issues, then yeah, have a fermented food once a day. Doesn't even take that much, just takes a little bit. It really doesn't take that much. That would be ideal, but that's not the only thing. That provides good gut bacteria to your gut, which is important. But if you want to take care of that bacteria that's in your gut, the good guys, if you want to take care of it and you want to take care of the hormones that are in the gut, okay, and all that, then you've got to make sure you're getting in that good, healthy fiber. And ideally, you know, the good Lord knows what he's talking about, y'all. Surprise, right? Ideally, that fiber needs to come in whole food form, along with the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients and the water content to process it. That's so important. That is so, so, so important. And so, because that's going to help with digestion and assimilation of the nutrients and everything, okay? And yes, I am working on that, Cheryl. I'm almost done. I didn't account for, Cheryl's asking if I've got the 3-day sample menu for the food piece course done. I don't have it done, but I'm almost done. I just didn't account for the holiday. Like I thought, oh yeah, 4th of July, we're gonna be gone and busy for a few hours. We celebrated with friends and family like for 4 days, and I didn't account for that. But it was lovely. It was wonderful. It was, you know, it was good for the soul because don't have a vacation this summer, so it was kind of nice to just have friends and family time. So yes, I'm almost done with that for sure. But having that fiber is really important. And gut health is really important for lots of reasons. But your GLP-1 hormone, I said this last week, the GLP-1 hormone, it's made in some different places, but mostly made in the gut. And if your gut is out of whack because you haven't been giving it the fuel it needs, then that hormone's not going to work well. It's not going to be produced enough, and it's not going to work well. It's not going to be sent. All those kind of things. And that, you know, I've talked to y'all, side note, I've talked to y'all about that in regards to serotonin, because of my own personal journey. It's similar. It is and isn't, but for example, serotonin is mostly made in the gut, then sent to the brain to tell your mind and tell your body, hey, you're all good and safe, happy, you know, all the things, don't panic, whatever. Well, guess what? If your gut's out of whack for whatever reason, and yes, you can eat unplanned foods and still be out of whack. Sorry, but you can. But you can also take control of that and tweak and heal. But if your gut is out of whack, then serotonin's out of whack. It doesn't get produced enough. It doesn't get sent to where it needs to be sent. And you'll have, you know, anxiety, panic attacks, maybe depression, all kind of stuff. The GLP-1 hormone, it's kind of similar to that. It's made mostly in the gut. So if your gut is kind of out of whack because you're not giving it what it needs, then that hormone is not going to be produced enough or sent to the brain like it needs to be in order to tell you you're full, you've eaten enough food, okay? But again, we could sit, here's what has happened with me in the past, but no more. We could eat lots of good food, even on plan healthy food, okay? Which may be at least gut supportive, but still have this crazy food noise and still have a low GLP-1 hormone. And I think that all goes back to making sure we are meeting our actual dietary needs, okay? Hitting that 30 grams of protein every time you eat is key, minimum. and I mean, sometimes you're going to fall short, and that's okay. Hit that. And then with the fiber, okay, this is a goal. And again, I actually am not one who likes to count, but Mama Tracy asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago on a live if I was counting my fiber yet. I'm not counting it yet, but I am becoming more and more aware of it for sure. And I will probably end up counting it just to get a handle on it. So with your fiber from whole foods, you want to get about 30 grams a day divided. Okay, so the nice thing here, and that's like, what? A lot of information. However, it's 30 and 30. So yay, it's easy. 30 grams of fiber divided over the day, and then 30 grams of protein each time you eat is going to make a world of difference. And you don't need to get that 30 grams of fiber in one meal. In fact, you shouldn't. Okay, divide that up and just aim for that and start becoming aware. Some foods that you think may be fiber rich actually aren't, and vice versa. One food that has blown my mind that is actually fiber rich is avocado. What? Just thought it was full of fat. I don't know. Avocado is actually an extremely fiber rich food. It's amazing. So again, going back to the 3 things I want you to think about is to naturally raise your GLP1 hormone. It is totally doable. Totally doable. You can do it. You're going to be amazed at when you do it. And we've got to start thinking about, hey, Jenny, we've got to start thinking about fueling to meet these needs. Because what happens, oh, I know, Kate, me too. I had no idea. So it's really good to become aware of how much fiber is in different foods. Just, not that you can't eat ones that are low in fiber, that are healthy, like some non-starchies that are lower in fiber, but just make sure you're getting in that fiber too. That's going to make a big difference in the satiety, in how, things slow down a little bit. Because that's what the GLP-1 prescription drugs are doing. They're not giving you the GLP-1 hormone. They're mimicking as if you had a raised level of the hormone. And what do? They slow down the food. They slow down the food going through your body so that your body can feel full and be signaled that hey girl, you're full. So, but we can do that naturally and very easily actually and meet those needs. Here's what's happened to me and I would never have believed it except that I've tested it and I'm like, wow, there we are. So guess what? At supper, for example, if I don't get my 30 grams of protein at least, if I skimp on my protein and, maybe I have some veggies and stuff, but maybe I skimp a bit and I'm like, well, this is enough. I've eaten a full, Then what happens is a few hours later, I get into the bed and all I can think about is the jar of, pistachios or macadamia nuts. Not that those aren't good. They're great. But at 9 and 10 o'clock at night, I don't need them. I don't need to be eating that. I shouldn't even be hungry. I just ate supper at 6, 7 o'clock, And so that is what happens when you don't hit those nutritional needs that your body must have. When you eat, when you have that meal, whichever meal it is, you start getting really preoccupied with foods in order to meet that need. And you don't even realize that's what it is. You think it's just, I'm craving it or whatever. And that's your body trying to be like, girl, you need to get some more essential amino acids. You need some more fiber. Eat that food. Keep eating it. Keep eating it. You didn't get enough. And you're trying to fill that need that your body has, except that when you're not just going straight to the foods that will fill it well, you're going to end up eating so much more of foods that don't really have those things. And so, for example, like with nuts are great. I am saying that, Mallory. That is exactly what I'm saying. So with like nuts, for example, totally on plan. Great. They're a part of my plan even still. But what'll happen is, if I think that, if I'm hungry and I'm in a hurry, and I think that, a collagen coffee and a handful of nuts is going to tide me over 4 hours, why would I think that? I don't know. But those have some protein and some fat and even some carb, a little bit in it, but it's not enough. It's not enough protein to really feel that need. And it's certainly not enough fiber to slow anything down. So yeah, that's the big ones. I talk more about some things, in the Food Peace course. And it's priced really cheap because I'm trying to get into your hands so you can see for yourself that you can quiet this food noise. And when you're quieting the food noise, you're naturally raising your GLP1 hormone. And when you naturally raise your GLP1 hormone and you keep doing that, you're going to be lowering your insulin resistance. They go hand in hand in hand in hand. So fueling to meet our actual needs with the protein and with the fiber, that is how we're going to do this. And, there are some little tips and tricks and ways to go about that will take you even further, make it even bigger bang for your buck, especially in regards to managing glucose and insulin. And I talk more about that in here. And I feel like I'm pretty darn sure that going forward, we're going to talk a lot more about this as we go along, for sure. Okay. And there's just so many things I could say. I haven't reached my goal weight yet, but it's going to happen. Okay. And, so I'm still in this also, but the amount of progress and impact that these things have had on my journey the last few months, it's mind blowing. Y'all are probably tired of me saying it that way, but it really, really is. And so I'm just going to leave you with this. Okay. You can naturally raise your GLP1 hormone. And even if you didn't know you needed to do that, hopefully now you see, oh, it's that food noise stuff that people keep talking about. Wait a minute, maybe I do have food noise. And you can have food peace. You can make peace with food and the clock and all the things. And there's just a few little tweaks. Honestly, it's just a few little tweaks. And these things, by focusing on good quality 30 grams of dense protein when you eat, increasing your fiber, and that's through whole foods, which are those beautiful non-starchies and veggies and greens and all those things. That's how we're going to age well. And I mean age well, strong, and just vibrant and all the things. That's how we're going to do it. Okay. And yeah, that's right, Selena. Me too. I don't need my desire to snack and graze and grab this and that. It's gone. As long as I build my meals well, it'll come right back if I don't. But I don't either unless I don't do it well. And then, if circumstances, if there's like some weird schedule thing, or if I have, shot myself in the foot and not done what I'm telling y'all to do, then yeah, I might need a snack. I might need something, but, I don't have that urge to grab and graze and stuff. I don't have that urge anymore when I do it well. And I'm also really digging, and I'm like digging, I'm almost done, y'all. I'm so sorry. I have that urge. I'm really digging into trying to get a better understanding of insulin resistance, because that's a problem, y'all. It's a big problem. It's a big problem all around us. And so I'm really digging into that. And once I really had to face the fact that, every time we eat, there will be an insulin response. And that's a good thing. That's not bad. That's a great thing. That's what keeps us alive. But every time we eat, there's an insulin response. And so I want to make sure that when I'm eating, I am setting my future self up, my 4 hour, my 5 hour self up to have a great insulin response. and my body is responding well to the insulin, and that my body isn't needing to keep pouring more and more insulin to manage what my past self did. Okay. And so I'm digging more into that. You'll be hearing more about that for sure. And I'm the same with Selena. Since implementing the things that I talk about here and really getting this mind shift focus, yes, if I do it well, then I do. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which makes sense. And I don't always I don't need a snack. I'm full, happy, satisfied, functioning, doing all my things. Now, I might still sometimes have a snack, like I said, if our schedule is wonky or if something has happened or if I did not feel myself well. But the difference that's made, like I said, I lost 10 pounds. I definitely needed to lose, for sure. I still have a little bit more I would like to lose, for sure. But it was not difficult. I lost 10 pounds. My tummy is flatter than it's been in I don't know how long. I mean, like how long. So Kelly, yeah, the number there on the fiber is 30 grams per day, just divided. Okay. And that's not unlike, maybe you've heard me or other people talk about that a nice minimum-ish protein goal is 100 grams a day. Give or take for real, but divided, not all at one time. So similar idea there. Your fiber, 30 grams a day is an excellent amount for what we need nutritionally and for all the things. So just divided, not all at one time for sure. And that's really going to help you dividing that up. So like, 10 per time. Yeah, so right now what I'm doing is similar to what Selena said, 3 meals a day, 4 to 5 hours apart-ish, kind of, give or take. Now I'm staying very hydrated and I'm drinking lots of, I have all different kind of drinks. I drink like Element, electrolyte drink, and apple cider vinegar diluted in water with stevia, and of course my coffee and my decaf coffee, and I have an Earl Grey lavender tea. So I'm doing, I'm getting some fun little drinks like that. But here's the thing I want you to know, Lydia. And I bet Selena would say the same thing. I'm not trying to not have a snack. I don't need it. But I used to need it. Like I used to get I do need to eat again because I am getting hungry/hangry and I ain't gonna make it to supper time. Okay. But I'm not. The difference here is I'm not trying to skip snack or not have a snack. I don't need it anymore at all. And because I'm fueling my breakfast and my lunch so well, by building it with those non-starchies and the protein and all the things, I don't need it. And then at supper, this one is a little bit harder if you, in certain situations, okay? But I'm doing so great. And it's like, who is this person? I don't even know myself anymore. At supper, when I do what I'm telling y'all to do, when I do it well, and I've got that protein and those fiber, those leafies and non-starchies and all the things, and berries, whatever. When I do it well at supper, I have found that I'm not even tempted when my family is around me snacking during movie time or game time. Now that's a hard one, I think. Maybe you don't struggle with that. I do, because sometimes it's kind of like social eating or just the power of suggestion. And so, that time to me, when it's movie night, game night, whatever, we're all sitting around and it's like right there in front of me with people snacking, that's a little bit harder. Hubbies will need more for sure, Becky. Absolutely. Definitely more than that. Probably more like 50 grams of protein per meal for sure. And on the fiber, I don't know about that part. I'm sorry. I do not know that part, but I would suspect more for sure. So I do understand the struggle there because, some of that at night when your family, when it's movie night, game night or whatever, there's some habit there where you're just like, well, I want a little munchy. And I have lived with that for decades. I have struggled with that for decades. And usually I just end up having something and, it's typically on plan. The last few years, it's typically been a fuel pool, and definitely that's the better option. A protein-rich fuel pool, like, you know what I'm going to say, y'all, Miracle Mousse Makeover, Trim Healthy Table, page 444. That is definitely like a great option. It's a good option. So I don't want you to feel like, please don't think I'm saying, well, you should never do that. That is not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying at all. If you want or even need a snack at night, please do reach for number 1, on plan, and number 2, a protein-rich fuel pool. Okay, that is fabulous to do, and I will definitely, and I'm sure I will be doing that too. What I am saying though is when I follow these things I talked about today and the things in here, when I do that at dinner as well, my urge to snack or graze or whatever is so diminished because I've met my body's nutritional needs at dinner. And that is mind-blowing to me. I can be quite satisfied with a decaf, tea or coffee during movie night. I've done that many times now and it still blows my mind. That's not me. That's not my normal me that I've lived with for decades, but that's my new me, and that's the me that's going to get me to goal weight. I'm just saying. That's a big deal, and that's so powerful when you realize, wait a minute, I'm not controlled by food or the clock anymore. It's not controlling me. I love food. I love it so much. I love to eat, love to go out to eat. I love it and I enjoy it fully. I definitely don't want to be in a place where food doesn't sound good, or I don't want to eat because I feel yucky, or No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I'm in control. I'm in control of my choices. And obviously, I think we can all agree, okay? If you eat dinner at, say, 6 o'clock at night, if you eat dinner, it's a good, healthy, on-plan dinner. Do you really need to eat again at 8 p.m. at night or 9 p.m. before going to bed? No. No, you don't. You don't, but we want to sometimes, right? Sometimes we want to. And some of us, like myself, who have grappled with food noise forever and didn't realize it, we almost can't resist it. I hate to say that because that makes it sound like I'm out of control, but there we are. My whole life, the idea of everybody around me eating their snacks and me not being, me not eating something, no. Because the urge, the preoccupation with sitting there thinking about what I could be eating would be way too great. It would be so distracting. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else because that kind of sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but literally 8 months ago, not that long ago, Mama Fox, literally a few months ago, that would be me. So distracted at night, during movie night, game night, even in the bed, reading my book like a good girl, offline by 9 and all the things, so distracted by thinking about what I could be eating, that I would get up and go get it. And it would be on plan, but I don't need it. I don't need it at night. Nobody needs to eat at 9 o'clock at night. You really, really don't. And it's not helpful to your sleep at all. Your body does not need to be worried about digesting food that you ate at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. It's got other things to do while you're asleep. That's a different topic, but really. But again, there's times where I still will probably have a little something because I might want to make my Miracle Mousse Makeover because it's lovely and I love it. And that's a great choice. It is. It is a good choice. The thing I'm trying to get across though is that needs to be something I'm like, you know what? Friday night, and maybe let's say it's Wednesday. Friday night we're going to do movie night. Haven't had Miracle Mousse Makeover in a long time. I think I'm going to make that as a fun special treat. that's okay. But being in control and knowing that if somebody else wants to crunch and munch on something, I don't have to have it, and I don't care, and it's fine, and I can ignore it, and I don't have to try to scramble to find some kind of, on plan whatever, then that's power. If I eat supper at 6 and it's 8 o'clock, I have fueled my body. And if I fuel my body well, then the food noise is not going to bother me, and I can just make myself a pint of decaf and enjoy that very, very well. Okay? So, my stars, I did not mean for it to go that long. Good grief, y'all. Obviously, this topic is near and dear to my heart, I suppose. I don't want it to be, but it is, and here we are. I hope that was helpful. Y'all, thanks for hanging in with me for like a whole hour again. I will work on that. I will improve. Those of you who have been here for any length of time, you know my lives do not usually go that long. They usually don't, but I'm really wanting to help some mamas have hope and to know you can do this. You can do it. It is possible, and there's lots of us doing it, and we're starting to really want to share more and more now that we've, I don't ever want to share something. I don't want to ever read about something or hear about something and then just bring it to y'all and not know if it works. That'd be so irresponsible, right? I don't want to ever do that. And so, these things I'm talking to you about, I've been reading about and researching, but then trying them out on myself for a length of time and all that. So, I just want you to know that I'm not just going to read something on the Google and then tell y'all to do it. I'm going to try it out on myself, make sure it's working. This is working. This is working big time. Okay, mamas, thank you so much. Here's what I'm going to do, because you may have some mama friends that need to hear this. So this video is here in our free group, but I will download it and then I will upload it to my public-facing YouTube channel. And, on the Google, yes, always on the Google, looking stuff up, Kate, right? So I will upload it to my YouTube, and I will email it out also to anybody on my email list. And when it's, I would love to have your mama friends here in our group to get encouragement. We'll be doing some free challenges and things like that. But I know a lot of mamas don't enjoy Facebook or social media. Maybe they're not on it. So once I get it onto the YouTube, you guys can share that link out. If you're on my email list, you'll get an email soon that has that YouTube link, and you can share that email with mamas that maybe don't want to do Facebook or social media or whatever, but they need to hear this. And again, the last 2 videos I've done about GLP1 and all this food noise stuff, those are on YouTube now, okay? And those have been emailed out also. So share. This is my heart's desire is just to spread this message that there is hope, and it's not that hard, and it don't cost that much. But even yours truly had to make some tweaks and learn just eating protein at every meal isn't quite enough for many of us. It needs to be a certain amount. And just eating non-starchies at our meals might not be quite enough if we're not getting enough or in the right way. And I didn't go into that because you can get this. It don't cost much, y'all. It costs almost nothing. Getting that fiber and those non-starchies in the right way at the right time, huge difference. Huge difference, okay? All right, mamas, thank y'all so much. I appreciate your encouragement. And next time, I'm going to set a timer. Next time, I'm going to set a timer on my live. And at the end of 30 minutes, I'm going to stop talking, even if I'm not done, and I'll do a part 2 following week. All right, bye, ladies.